Hey guys, coming at you with a comparison video of what you get for $5 versus what you get for $50. Now, some people say it's a lot to pay for a $50 is a lot to pay for a fidget spinner, but it's all about in what you get. It comes down to the precision spinner is made, and it also comes down to the quality of the bearings. The cheaper the spinner, the less precision it's going to be going into the manufacture of the body, the frame of the spinner, and the less money they're going to put into the bearings, of course. So today I'm kind of rocking my Deadpool shirt right here, if I can get him up here where you can see him. There's Deadpool. When I was doing this earlier, practicing, it reminded me of an episode of South Park called The Death of Memeing, I believe, where Cartman is doing the faith healing on the screen. I thought that was pretty funny. So back to my original thing before I got off on my little rant there. What it boils down to really is what kind of quality do you want in your spinner. I'm going to give you a little spin test right here, and I'll show you the difference between $5 versus $50. You can hear right off that the $5 spinner is much louder. It looks, if you look at the, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I can tell from this angle that it is kind of wobbling back and forth. Let me stop this right here. But you hear that one. You hear the laughing walrus is much quieter, so it's going to be a much smoother spin. Stop that one. And let's do some little close-up look at it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but right there, and a couple other spots, like right there, there's just little dings and nicks all over the body of this spinner. Another thing I noticed about it is that if you can hear that loud ringing, I don't know if you're the kind of person who likes a lot of noise from your spinner, but this is the kind of spinner that's going to get you noticed if you're standing in a crowd, or if you're in class, or if you're sitting in church. The noise from this thing is going to distract people around you. So compare it to the $50 spinner, and it's virtually silent. There is a little bit of noise. If I'm really quiet, I can hear the difference in the sound level. And the other thing is kind of a little bonus feature, I guess, is that this black and silver is not going to be as distracting. It's not going to catch attention the way this iridescent spinner is. This one's definitely going to reflect off the sunlight or overhead lights. It's going to catch people's attention and distract people around you. So you'll have to keep this one kind of hidden down out of the way. This one you can just spin pretty much anywhere, and no one's really going to notice it, especially if you have your hand like that. And you can see a size difference. This one's a little bit smaller, so it's going to be easier to carry around in your pocket, a little bit easier to get around with it, I guess. And also it'll fit if you have smaller hands, like a lady has smaller hands. This one is less likely to bang into the skin right there. The other difference is in this one, along with the noise you can hear, you can also feel a lot of bearing movement in there. You can feel the bearings racing around in there, and I'll show you the bearings in just a second. And if you notice that this thing did have a little bit of wobble, not a whole bunch of wobble, but that's going to vary depending on the manufacturer of the spinner. The bearing wobble effect is going to be based on how close the caps, not these outer caps, but the inner cap, I'll show you that in a second also, how close that inner seal is that holds the bearing in place. And let's see if we can get this one going here. This one has virtually no wobble, so if you're a wobble person, you'll probably like something like this. If you're like me and you don't like wobble and you like a silky smooth feel, something along these lines would be a better choice. So let me pull the cap off right quick and show you the bearings inside of it. I'm trying to do this in a hurry so I don't waste your time. It's kind of a slippery bit with that. I'm not sure if it's the oil on my fingers or if it's the iridescent coating on the spinner. But either way, pretty hard to get the caps to unthread. There we go. You can see on the inside there. And I'll show you I can get the other cap off there. They do fit in there pretty precisely, so I'm going to leave that one like it is, so because I only need to show you this side here. As you can see, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is an 8-ball R188 bearing, and it does have a bearing guide in there to hold the bearing separate, which is pretty typical for a R188 bearing from what I've seen so far. I have seen one of the R188s with ceramic bearings. It was a hybrid ceramic, and the balls were floating loose in there. So I do know that at least the ceramic ball bearings do come in a loose form, and they come in a form with a race. So that will make a difference between whether, well, actually it makes a difference how smoothly the spinner will spin. So let me pull the caps off this one real quick and show you the bearings. Oh, one thing I did forget to point out was, if you notice on here, this bearing cap is not removable. That means you cannot take the bearing out easily and wash it and put it back in, or swap out the bearings if you want to. These bearings are pressed in, so it's not advisable to take these out or try to take them out. You probably wind up destroying the bearing trying to get it out. And unless you got some type of press designed to put bearings back into a spinner, you're most likely not going to do yourself any good by trying to take the bearings out of that one. So caps on this one came off pretty easily. You can see they're pretty nice looking caps. And let's see, get the light in there just right on that one. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that is a 10-ball ceramic, hybrid ceramic bearing, that is. 10-ball hybrid ceramic. It's got the black ceramic bearings in it. And you notice that this thing does have a cap on it that unscrews. So it makes it very easy to pull this cap off and replace the bearings, or just clean the bearings. So you can unscrew this thing with, this one actually comes with a tool that lets you unscrew it, but you can actually unscrew it using a quarter or a really wide screwdriver, or just a really wide piece of metal, just in case you lose the little tool that comes with it. So yeah, let me put the cap back on. This is the one I carry every day, the EDC, everyday carry. I didn't know what that stood for back in February. I kept saying EDC on everything, and finally had to Google it. EDC has the initials EDC come up several times in Google for different organizations, so, and different meanings, so it took me a while to figure out it meant everyday carry. So there you go. Just wanted to show you a little comparison between a $5 fidget spinner made out of metal. I don't know exactly what this one's made from. It could be brass. It is heavy, so it probably is brass, or maybe at least copper. It's too heavy to be aluminum, too heavy to be zinc. I've got a couple of zinc ones, and I've got a couple of aluminum ones. But there's your $5 spinner versus a $50 spinner, and this one is actually a low-end spinner. I guess maybe mid-range priced at $50. And actually they're probably on sale right now. Usually Laughing Walrus puts them on sale for 10 or 20 bucks off, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're on sale right now. But this one's milled from stainless steel, has a black coating on it, and then they carve off parts of the black coating to let you have that beautiful circular pattern. So, hope you enjoyed this little video and you got something out of it, and you know the difference between a $5 spinner and a $50 spinner. And I will talk to you later.